Aquarius. So this is a collective message. If you are not an Aquarius sun, moon, or ascendant, then you don't need to be here. And that's just what it is. And that's how I read. Okay. Regardless of anything else. Like, I don't do cross watching readings. So just watch yourself. Just watch yourself. Okay. Aquarius. So obviously there's some type of threatening energy in the air. Um, for some reason I pick up on the idea that you might be threatening someone else's existence, or someone else might be threatening your existence, but most of all it is a threat. Okay. A threat to your safety, a threat to maybe your livelihood, a threat in a way that isn't linear, or just doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay. Like, I think that somebody has this big bold idea um, to test you, and testing you, maybe in this case, especially when you're in this type of mode, or mood fluctuation, isn't the best idea. Okay. So the first message I picked up on was blue bloods. Okay. Blue bloods, to me, talking about rarity, talking about golden opportunities, talking about somebody with very, very rare physical capabilities or mental capabilities, someone who's very intelligent, someone who's highly noted in the universe as being a very, very strong and I also heard pathological individual. Now, pathological could mean many things, but in this kind of sense, I think it's like you're, like I said, a very linear person. They talk about the Rorschach test. If you don't know what the Rorschach test is, it's so that series of photos that they show crazy people or psychopaths. They show them these photos to try to get like a read on their psyche. And so they'll do like photos that look like butterflies and photos, and then whatever you see within that particular test is kind of like what prototype or what personality type you are. So that popped up really big. Something about paganism popped up quite big as well. They keep talking about, why does God want us to hate each other or fight each other? And we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So the main the story I picked up on is this thing between love and rage. Okay. Love and hate. The reason why I said love and rage at first is because I don't think it's true hatred. I really don't think you care enough to really be hateful towards another individual. I really don't think that that's even what you're trying to give to the situation. I think what you're trying to do is show somebody that you love them by using kind of a more forceful attitude or a forceful language. Okay. You're trying to tell somebody like what's best for them or what's right for them. Vice versa, obviously, because someone could also be trying to do this shit to you, but it's the energy of, I hate you, but I still love you. I really do hate you, but I really do love you. That's confusing, right? It's very confusing because I think everybody's relationship with you is also confusing, right? The way people look at you, the way they talk to you, or the way they don't talk to you, even the way they ignore you, is always so confusing. How can somebody love you or appreciate you for being the right person that you are if they can't even give you a second of their time, right? Why is it only like they judge their time with you based on the convenience, right? Like, so if conveniently they're free that night, then conveniently they'll hit you up and whatever. Like, there's never a time that they go to you when they just want to be around you, right? Like, so it's very how to say, a lonely lifestyle for you Aquas, for you Aquarius. So it's lonely because people pick and choose their battles, and one of the battles that they load the most is you and theirs, right? I did pick up on this energy of, better get reincarnated a couple of more hundred times before you approach me again. So you're obviously telling somebody like to back the fuck off, or you're telling somebody like, you better loosen your motherfucking grip, because whatever ends up happening to you next, karmically or not karmically, it's gonna really motherfucking hurt. And either way, like, I won't be able to trust you, and I won't be able to look at you the same for the next couple hundred cycles here. So they keep talking about like reincarnation, and how like the next reincarnation you still gonna hate this motherfucker. The next reincarnation after that, you still gonna hate a motherfucker, or you're still gonna feel some type of way. You're still not gonna be able to trust them in the next life here. So they did pick up on military mind or strategy games, and because this is a song based on Tupac Shakur, you might be dealing with a Gemini, or you could be dealing with someone with strong Sagittarius, strong fire sign energy. And then this one says we have too much in common, right? You have too much in common with someone. Also remind me of the name Tutankhamun, which, if you don't know that, they say emperor. In the Egyptian pharaoh times, he was an emperor or a pharaoh who made a lot of changes within a very small amount of time, but even a couple of months into his ruling, he ended up perishing. Some say that there was some dirty play involved, but I think it was just physical and mental illness that actually ended up kicking him off the horse there. And then there's this: I'm on this road for a long time. I'm on okay, I'm on this road for long term, okay? And then it says you all have been through the pain. So you might be talking to someone who's a little bit older than you or a little bit more structured than you about why is it that we have to go through all sorts of pain and all sorts of bitterness, and why do resentments sometimes carry over as well? So there could be something along the lines of like your parents hated someone in your family, or your parents just hate a certain type of person, and then you also end up hating that particular type of person, even though that doesn't really make any sense. Because why can't you make your own jest about someone? Why can't you look at that individual and judge the individual by the individual and not what your parents or what everybody else in the family thinks, right? Like, why are you not allowed to think for yourself? Excuse me. To think for yourself. That popped up. So let's get into the reading portion. The first cards that I picked up was Page of Swords in reverse. This is you're not willing to you're not willing to look at a situation a different way. Okay, this is no longer a learning experience for you. You're no longer going to deal with toxic individuals. You're no longer going to fall for fake offers or meet someone halfway, because every time you have met them halfway, or every time you put yourself out there in a risky manner, it's always come out sideways. Temperance in the upright. So this is the idea that the only way that you're going to find balance here is if you let go of Page of Swords in reverse. You let go of resentments, you let go of hatred, and you let go of this person. You stop trying. That's the only way that you're actually going to be able to get further in your life without having to do. It's the yin and the yang effect, right? You're in too much yang energy, or you're in too much yin energy, and it's causing a lot of problems mentally and emotionally for you. I feel like I believe the yang energy is the female energy, and correct me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong on that, but yin or yang, might be yin as well. So, and you can see I wore a shirt today that kind of represents that yin and that yang, right? Strength in the upright and death in reverse. So lack of interest in changing your ways, or someone has a lack of interest in changing their ways. Okay, there's just a huge lack of interest, a huge like lapse in judgment, lapse in teachings, lapse in intelligence, and just like it's all over the fucking place. Okay, it's insulting to you because you thought you were going to maybe deal with somebody romantically or family-wise that was a little bit more intelligent, but not everybody is you, right? Not everybody can be you. Not everybody can understand the things that you go through on a daily basis. Just like you can't make assumptions about what everybody else goes through on a daily basis, right? And I see a lot of Aquariuses do this thing called like observation or visualization, where they think because they can visualize what everyone else has gone through that they can make the appropriate judgment based on like basically like breadcrumbs. Like, you don't know the whole situation, right? And I think Aquarius, assuming that you do know the whole situation on this person's side, is very selfish. Okay, it's very selfish. Regardless of how you feel internally, it's very selfish. Okay, so they are talking about the past, the past, the present. They're talking about the ending of a cycle, ending of a relationship, or perhaps this is more or less your new beginning for you, right? In this new beginning, you're resisting. You might be resisting this new beginning, where someone around you is kind of distracting you from the idea of a new beginning, right? So you've always been in this. I don't understand how y'all have been in this such a linear line of thinking, like thinking that your parents are always right, or thinking about that this person is always right, or thinking you're always right. I don't know how you ended up gathering that much overconfidence and overstep and lot too much overt boundaries, because I feel like you you're making judgment calls, right? You're pretty big ones for your lifetime. Maybe choosing to even like cut some folks off that, I'm not going to say they haven't done anything wrong, but I feel like you're making a judgment based on what you feel right now, which might be stress and anger and rage, right? But if you love somebody, you're not going to threaten to do that. If you truly love somebody, you're going to be able to calm yourself down and have an adult A to B conversation with that person. And if they can't, or if you cannot, sounds like you need to reevaluate a lot of the things that you go through mentally, because maybe what you're going through mentally isn't exactly the healthiest, right? Maybe it's not the healthiest. They're talking about no balance and no stability here. They're talking about not being able to sleep. They're talking about a lot of sleep issues where you might be like having reoccurring dreams, reoccurring nightmares, reoccurring situations in the patterns of your life. Definitely like it feels like you're trapped in a cycle of fate or destiny, like something you're supposed to deal with that you keep denying and denying and denying over and over, and over again. It feels like that's also what keeps you back from financial success. That's what keeps you back from moving. So if you're trying to move like in a physical way, you're not taking it as slow as you need to. You're trying to like make jumps that just don't make any sense, right? You're dealing with folks that like you'll hold them responsible for everything they have done to you, but you won't hold yourself responsible for how crazier than a shithouse rat you have been, right? And so when this person maybe brings up your faults, you don't trust their judgment. But when everybody else stays away from you or everyone else is incredibly critical of you, you can't blame them, right? You can't just blame everybody for seeing your faults when you're the one showing them that you can be a crazy motherfucker, or you can be, whatever it is. Like, I understand people are making bad judgment calls about you, but you're also making bad judgment calls about the situation. So yeah, they're saying like you why show your anger and your rage towards something and not like think about it. It's just like, and you're angry or and you're mad, or like when somebody is trying to break down their truth, like can't two things be true at the same time, Aquarius? Yeah, two things can be true at the same time. So don't you play with me, bro. Yeah, they keep talking about like two things can be true at the same time. Like your truth can be true and another person's truth can be true, because it's two different eyes and two different brains, two different situations. No matter how far you remove yourself from your emotions, it's still going to be through your eyes. Okay. And this person can view it from a completely separate existence. Okay. You can't keep getting scared or fearful of other people's judgments. Okay. Yeah, they keep talking about buckling up. Buckle up, buttercup. Yup. They said buckle up, buttercup. They talking about something shocking or scaring you. There's spirits or paranormal shit going on around you, or weird happenings like weird bugs or animals showing up in front of you. They talk about horses a lot right now. They're talking about bugs. They're saying, who are you really? Outside of the rage, outside of the anger, outside of the stress, who are you really? What are you really? Right? It has nothing to do with spirituality in this particular setting. It has everything to do with who you think you are. Okay. I even heard that song, who do you think you are? Running around leaving scars, collecting your job hard and tearing love apart. Gonna catch my soul. Wait, no, it's gonna catch a toll from the ice inside of your soul. So don't come back to me. Who do you think you are? Can't even remember the lyrics. It takes so long just to feel alright. Remember how to put back the light in my eyes. I wish I had missed the first time that we kissed. You broke all the promises, and now you're back. You wanna get me back? Hey. Damn. I don't even know how I remember this song, y'all. I remember being like 10 years old and hearing that shit on the radio, bro. Like 10 or 11 years old, hearing that shit on the radio. But that's a memorable song. I don't know how where the fuck I pulled the lyrics. I don't know where I pulled the fucking lyrics from, but that's that song, okay? So it's like you might be asking, who does this person think they are to you? What do you think you are to them, right? How do you think, like, being viewed as a public figure, even, like, there's even, like, things about public figure here. What do you think you are to them? Because it's not what you think, right? It's not about what you think anymore, especially if you're a public figure and you're someone who stands out in a public crowd. You know, everyone, because that kind of has their thoughts about you. Okay, do you think the rest of humanity is just playing tricks on you when they tell you that you're a little bit too stressed out, you're a little bit too angsty and angry and rageful, prideful, hateful? Do you really think the rest of humanity is faulted for letting you know that there is something going on internally with you and that you need to be able to digest it, and maybe you need help, therapy or something bigger in order to digest that, right? People who love you care about you, and whether you want to believe that or not, I guess it's up to you, but they're going to point out things that might offend you at face value, but then if you look deeper into them, you realize they're telling it to you because they care about you. Okay, so they are saying something about playing the game of being online and playing the game of, like, you're trying to maybe do some research on how certain people have dealt with this similar sickness, ailment, or anger that you have dealt with. You're trying to figure it out online, but it's just not working. It's like this shit, it gets you really, really crazy. The fact that maybe there's no information on who you are or what you are or what's happening to you. It's like you keep Googling and Googling and Googling, like, but Google won't change your life. You will. You have to. Okay, they are talking about spiders here, recurring dreams about spiders, perhaps, or recurring situations revolving around insects or bugs. And they're saying this is definitely about, like, something that's going on in your mind or your brain. They talk about how, like, it feels like little bugs are whispering in your ear. They keep talking about a disorder. Okay, so they also talk about how insects are creatures of the sun. So you realize at night only certain bugs or certain, like, of course, like mosquitoes and stuff like that in spiders will come out at night, but they talk about other insects like moths and like beetles and stuff like that, how they're creatures of the sun, that you really only are able to see them when the sun is out or the sun is up. So it might be that your anger or your frustrations come out during the sun, or what as soon as you wake up. So there's something to do with the effect of you waking up in a certain way, or maybe not getting enough sleep, or maybe your sleep pattern is just off. Something about you at night is just different. It's like night and day. They keep talking about. They talk about finding something creative to do when you can't sleep. So instead of just sitting there and scrolling on social media, they said find something creative that you can work on. Okay, like something that you can incorporate in that's hobby related. Okay, hobby related. It has nothing to do with anybody else. They say you got to stimulate your mind or stimulate your brain, a certain piece of your brain right now. Okay, they just want to let you know that you're not a failure, and you're not doing this shit on purpose. You're not a failure. You're not a piece of shit for having these issues or problems. Many people have them, but for someone to be honest about them is the only way a person can face real and actual growth through this mental or physical situation, okay, or spiritual even. Anything else they want to say? Yeah, and so romantically, you will not see your romantic life necessarily clear up until you clear up whatever this is emotionally with you, okay? So, like, romantically, you won't see any big shifts or changes in the type of people that you attract because it's all within you. And what you are going towards is definitely something that's happening internally for you. And you keep trying to internalize, but it's time to get vulnerable and externalize. Okay, so Aquarius, that's all we got for you. uh just keep these things in mind though. Like, keep in mind that there is a hope for you out there, and that you need to work on yourself in order to grab this situation by the neck and successfully move towards a bigger and brighter and happier future. Because internalization, it's hell, and you will bring hell into anyone's life that ends up surrounding you because of that rage you're building up slowly internally. Okay.